You have heard it now. And with that, I will hand over to the moderator of the stage, like Alta. Actually, the funny story is like she only has 2 days left in the Schengen area, and she flew today in the morning in to give you like a moderation, and then tomorrow in the evening she will fly out of Schengen again. So I think that's a very huge dedication, and I'm very much looking forward to having you now here. So Alta.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, the officer gave me a very interesting look today when I was landing in. So I gave him my word that I was going to leave the country. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I hope that you had a good lunch, and I will be your moderator for the remainder of the afternoon. And to all the speakers, forgive me if I mispronounce your names with my Latin accent. And let's get it started then. We're gonna have an afternoon full of various categories, all the way from basics, core DePIN to AI robotics, and a little bit of policy regulation, and a few panels as well. And to kick off the afternoon, we're going to have Solana with us, and I welcome Jonas Hahn, who is going to be covering topics like what is DePIN, the core basics of it, why you should use Solana, fun creative projects that they have been testing on Solana, and he is a developer relations at the company, and also we thank them for being one of our main sponsors and making this event happen today. So this is all yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm Jonas Hahn. So I've been a game developer for 10 years. And yeah, now I work for 3 years already for the Solana Foundation, and I do their developer relations. And I'm mainly focused on games and DePIN. So I'm also maintaining and building a bunch of DePIN projects and organizing hackathons, building tools, and so on. So who of you knows what DePIN is already? I mean, it's a DePIN conference, but apparently there's not that many who know already what DePIN is here. So I give a very quick overview. So the word actually stands for decentralized physical infrastructure networks. And it's often like called the Uber of infrastructure. I like this definition. It's like making strangers work together to achieve something bigger. So basically you're just like incentivizing a bunch of people to do something that you want to do, them to do, to build something cool together. And here's a few of these examples and how they do this. So actually how DePIN works, it's basically just make it 10 times faster, make it 10 times cheaper. And here are a few examples of the industries that are currently disrupted by DePIN. So there's, first of all, we have telecommunication. So we have, there's for example a project which is called Helium, which is providing decentralized internet around the world. And how they disrupt this industry is basically instead of paying $300,000 per cell tower, they are just paying many more people $400, and they just put a hotspot in their houses. And then these people who run these hotspots get actually paid in tokens on the Solana blockchain. So this is of course way cheaper, and the coverage is way easier. So many of the big phone company providers are actually now offloading their data distribution to Helium hotspots, which people just have in their houses. And I think it's also like a really cool thing that I can just drive around in the world and basically just use the hotspots from people that have them in their houses. Another one is mapping. So currently the biggest mapping company is probably Google. They pay like 10 billion for it, and the data is out of date as soon as the Google car drives through there. So like the data is usually out of date, and what Hyperpepper did is instead of having the cars themselves, they incentivize people to put camera devices in the cars. These cars drive around and they get money for the map data that they provide to Hyperpepper. And Hyperpepper then sells this data to people who need this mapping data. And of course, it's really cool for the taxi drivers, Uber drivers. It's also cool because the data is more centralized and more up to date. So you can actually see what's happening in a certain street, for example, at a given time. And yeah, it's way cheaper, and there's Hyperpepper and Natix is doing the same thing for Teslas right now. And then there's precise positioning. I think we learned today a lot about Honorary already, which is also a system. They just pay people to put these stations on their houses, and like that you get way more precise satellite signals. So this is just three of the things. And at the moment, it's a giant market, and it's the perfect timing for building a DePIN project because hardware is cheap. The crypto tech is ready. Solana can, at the moment, do 1,500 transactions per second. Every DePIN network can run on it. Then this is a few industries that might be disrupted in the next years. We're not 100% sure yet. Precise positioning is on a very good track with companies like Keynote and Honorary. Then there's physical AI. I'm going to show you a few funny projects later to this. But there's BitRobot and Reborn. And then there's GPU marketplaces. So you can basically just rent out your GPU overnight to this network and earn some money. Or there's a project called Shaga, which lets you rent out your gaming PC overnight of your kids. And then they can make a bunch of money overnight. So there's tons of these systems that work together. And also Solana is investing in AI infrastructure. So recently we did a benchmark of which of these LLMs is actually the best one at doing their own crypto transactions on Solana. And I think Claude's on it for one here. And what you can do with these kind of things is you basically just give an agent a wallet and they can do stuff for you. So for example, here's an example that Windsurf did. It's like an agent that can order stuff on Amazon for you. So that's really cool. And it just has its own wallet. It's ordering for you. It comes delivered to your home. This is an example of decentralized AI. Then we have Raposa. They are doing royalties on chain for coffee. And they had this cool robot that was pouring you coffee at the last Solana conference. Then we have, currently there's an open source robot developed on Solana. Now it has actually already 2 joins. So you can check this one out. Then we have a bunch of DePIN IoT examples. Any one of you has a company and you want to do reward distribution on Solana, we have you covered. We have like examples how you can very easily do a reward distribution similar to Helium, for example. Then we have some fun projects in there as well. Like you can have like a talking fish that reads memo transactions on Solana. We have a decentralized bar where you scan a Solana Pay transaction request and automatically pulls your drink. And we have a Raspberry Pi token minter, so basically you have 2 buttons. And what I use it for with my girlfriend is whenever someone unloads the dishwasher, they press a button, they get a token, and who has the least tokens at the end of the week needs to pay for dinner. So there's just a bunch of funny examples that you can do with tokens on Solana. And we have this preset that you can use if you want to have a reward distribution for any system. You can just clone it and use it. And then a few slides on why I think Solana is a great fit. So the most best DePIN projects in the world are already on Solana. We have here HiveMapper, Onocoin, Helium, Wingbits is really cool. We can just track planes in the sky and see the picture of the pilot that's currently flying it. 60 active DePIN projects, 175 million raised in the last year. Solana has the highest liquidity, so in 2024 you can see the green part is like bigger than all the other chains combined. Then we have a huge developer community, 7,500 new developers in the last year alone. 1.3 billion in app revenue, so that's of course between like all the different apps. Then here's a little comparison between some other like networks. Solana has 1,300 transactions per second, which is huge. The confirmation times is 400 milliseconds to confirm a transaction. The median fee is a fraction of a cent, and it's still very decentralized. So Nakamoto coefficient of 20 at the moment. Then, Solana is also leading in real economic value, as you can see here, in comparison to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is the roadmap for the next year. So Solana is actually very fast developing. So soon, and probably end of this year, we will be able to do 120,000 transactions per second. Then we will have a system called BAM, which lets us do central limit order books on chain. And the next year, there's a new client currently developed in C instead of Rust, which will drive Solana to 1 million TPS. And the last one, I think, is the most exciting because someone from the ETH Zurich actually developed a new consensus algorithm for Solana, which will probably go live next year. And it will bring finality down to 150 milliseconds, which is crazy because it's like almost as fast as like a normal server backend. So build physically, distribute digitally. This was the Solana talk, and here I have a QR code for getting started if you want to build something on Solana. And on the right I have a little game. So if you show me your high score that you made in this game, then I have a little prize for you later as well. So thank you very much for listening, and Thank you for having me as well here. I love it. And we have time for 2 questions. There is a really cool other project that I saw last week, which is a drone delivery network from a hackathon. So basically, they just provide a drone into this network, and then you order something at a bakery or something. Anyone's drone flies there, picks it up, and flies it to your balcony. Very futuristic, but I just found this really cool example. Yes, here.
What I mean, you can cover like specific technical things that you have on your roadmap to support DePINs.
Yeah, so this is a thing that Solana does. It's called IDRL, increase bandwidth, reduce latency. So the whole network is always trying to be the fastest and best network ever. So this is the roadmap that is currently there. For specifically supporting DePIN, we have, of course, a BD team that I can connect you with. But we also have like the technical expertise to support. Like I already said, we have this reward distribution example, which works out of the box, which like, I think in the example, it's just writing temperature data on chain every second and gets a token for it using off-chain Oracle and verifying 2559 signatures of a unique identifier on a device.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you need anything else, let me know. We're always happy to work together with new teams. Yes, there at the very back. Yeah.
So my question relates a little bit to the last answer you gave when it comes to storing things on chain. I'm just wondering how, I guess not everything is stored on chain because that would be an enormous storage constraint to revisit the whole color. But like what current things are being stored on chain and beyond the token for tokenomics applications and the associated smart contracts, what is Solana contributing to the DePIN project?
Yeah, this is a great question. And saving data on chain is very expensive. So that's why most of the data you should not actually save on chain. It doesn't really make sense. What you would do instead is like what this example, for example, does. It's using an off-chain Oracle where the device signs the data with a unique identifier, sends it to the Oracle verifies the data and just writes how many rewards it would get into a database. And then when you claim the reward, the Oracle signs another message that is validated in the Solana program, and then you get the rewards. You can, of course, also put all the data on chain, but it's just very expensive. But instead, what you would do is you would write the data somewhere and write a hash on chain. And there we have like multiple projects that are doing this. One of them is called Termina, for example, where you just like can write any data block and you get a hash back, and then you write that on chain. I think that makes more sense. And you can also write it to Arweave, Filecoin, or whatever decentralized blockchain that's actually built for saving data. The benefit is that on Solana mainnet you have your token there, and then you have like all the liquidity. You can like have different marketplaces and so on. But yeah, great question. It's like very... Okay, cool. Thanks so much.